is Vanessa, co-founder of ETTWomen, and I'm here with the amazing Elizabeth McLaughlin. I hope I said that correctly,
yes,
even though I practiced.
You got it.
And I'm so excited because I connected with Elizabeth a while back through social media, which, as you know, I'm a fervent believer of. And we're here today at her first Gaia Women Lead live event in New York City. And I want to share with our viewers is the importance of being here, the importance of having this conversation about women's leadership overall, especially in this trying times that we know we're all in. And I'll let you take that from there.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that's so important to us here at the Gaia Project for Women's Leadership is this, where we are in history, because it's really a turning point right now for women's leadership. And that's not just because of where we find ourselves as a nation, but it's also because of where women in our progression professionally find ourselves in the workplace and in the world.
Yeah.
And so we're committed to new paradigm women's leadership, what we call new paradigm women's leadership, which is really about how women can grow their leadership beyond the traditional metrics of masculine leadership, which are really usually just about time and money. How much time have you put in? How much money do you make? How much money do you bring to the table? And really moving toward a much more holistic model of leadership, which honestly, by the way, the data shows is better for the bottom line. And also allows us to have lives that are really in alignment with our values. So we value the gifts that every individual leader brings to the table. We value the way that teams are built based not just on how much money people can make, but based on what they uniquely contribute to the entire team mentality. And we also, frankly, value many of the things that are traditionally associated with women's leadership, like effective communication skills, right? And being able to manage multiple things at once, and the opportunity to really be compassionate and empathetic in the way that we lead. And the great news is that all the data is showing us that this actually creates growth at the bottom line for companies when they implement these sort of holistic leadership strategies. Companies get indicted and investigated a lot less often, and productivity goes through the roof.
Yeah.
So that's what we're all about. And honestly, this conference is happening right now because we really felt the need and had the call from many of our alumni, because we've been doing this now for 8 years, to really get powerhouse thought leader women in a room together and talk about the future of women's leadership.
Yeah, one of the things that jumps at me when you're talking about women's leadership, and I know that's something that I can personally relate to, is the fear that is around all that. And I know that you spoke to, that it's good for the bottom line, but what would you say to any woman who's out there, taking stock of how awesome she is and owning the fact that, she is in a leadership position and maybe feeling that she's intimidating or is being intimidated?
Yeah.
What would you say to that?
Well, so one of the things that we focus on here in the leadership training that we do for women, and actually even in gender neutral environments, is the fact that because women were not in the workforce in large numbers until, let's call it 30 or 40 years ago, the cultural programming has told us that we're not qualified to do quote unquote men's work, right? And so the oft mentioned imposter complex, which we've read so much about in the last 5 years, is a real thing. And what I always say to women leaders is that there isn't a single woman who I have worked with who hasn't at some point felt scared or felt like she's not qualified for the job that she's holding, or that she's a fraud, or she's going to get found out. And the point of that is not actually that there's something wrong with the individual woman leader, right? The point is that that's cultural baggage that doesn't belong to us, that we've internalized. Yeah. And so the moment that we can recognize that it's our culture that has told us that we are not good enough, that we are not adequate, that we can't use our voices, that we can't be assertive, that's the moment where that fear starts to dissipate a little bit. And don't get me wrong, sometimes we all have to fake it till we make it, but let me just add, I think it's really important for us to give back the baggage that isn't ours.
Yeah.
Because the more that we recognize that we are qualified to do the same work that men have always done traditionally, and we're qualified to sit in the C-suite, and we deserve a seat at the table, the more we grow into those roles, and we also create room for the women who are coming up the chain behind us.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So what is one thing that you hope that the women here take away with them?
I think the thing that I would like to see everyone who's here take away is the idea that our leadership is a force for change and a force for good in the world. And that the power of women's leadership right now at this moment in time is not just about achieving great things in our careers and getting into the C-suite and moving into positions of greater authority in the corporate world or the entrepreneurial world for that matter, but it's also honestly about what we can do to make the world better. For all women, and I'm very big on intersectionality, for all women of all backgrounds, of all races, of all orientations, of all identities, and from all spectrums of earning capacity, because we all rise together, and if we don't work to lift one another up, we will eventually fail. So to me, it's all about joining arms once and for all and rising together.
That's amazing. If I would like add anything to that, I'll just ruin the message.
All right, great.
Where can women get in touch with you? How can they get involved? How can they take action? How can they take advantage of all the offerings that you have as well?
So GaiaLeadershipProject.com is our website, and we do both corporate consulting work, where we train whole teams of leaders, both women and non-gender specific. And then we also do virtual training online for women leaders across the year. And so we actually have an imprint now on 6 continents. We train women on 6 continents around the world, which is amazing. And we have thousands of graduates all over the world. And so that's the first and most pivotal place to find us. But I am also doing daily broadcasts right now on Facebook. You can find me on Facebook. For Resistance Live, which is our daily broadcast on what's happening in the political realm that is oriented toward women leaders, but honestly toward anybody who's interested in becoming a force for change in the resistance and for the future. So those are the 2 primary places to find us, and we love all involvement and activism and coalition. And on my Facebook feed, there's tons of resources. We have 20,000, close to 20,000 followers now.
That's awesome.
And lots of great places to connect.
Awesome. Congratulations on everything.
Thank you so
much for having us.